Hey guys, Matt here, and today we're going to be learning some Japanese with the new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion. So Crisis Core is getting a HD remake, and it's pretty much pulling all of the assets from Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can see the models look so super similar, so it's really bumping up from PSP graphics and resolution. And so this seems to be a complete graphic overhaul of the PSP game Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. And so today I thought it might be a cool idea to check out some of the Japanese that's used in the trailer so that we can learn some Japanese. And also as kind of an added bonus, we can kind of have a look at the comparison between the Japanese and the English script. So starting things off, Zack is appearing in front of all of these Shinra soldiers aiming their gun at him, and he says, and this is actually an abbreviation of Mathew, and this means kind of like a good grief, kind of expressing exasperation at the situation, like, oh geez. So here, in this situation, he's got a million guns pointed at him, and so he says, geez.
自由の代償は高いぜ.
And a very cool shot from the back here of him grabbing the Buster Sword, and he says, 自由の代償は高いぜ. So 自由, this is the first word that we have, and this means freedom. So 自由の, freedom something, and then the next word, 代償, this means kind of a price or a recompensation for something. So the price of freedom, right? 自由の代償は, so as for the price of freedom, and then 高い, that means very high, or in this sense, very expensive. So the price of freedom is quite high. Finishing off with a ze, this is just a little bit more of like an anime yo, a very emphatic way of speaking.
自由の代償は高いぜ.
As it cuts to the next scene, we have this text displayed on the screen, and it says, 彼の存在が Final Fantasy VII を生む. So 彼 means him or he, 彼の, so his, 存在 is existence, so his existence, が, so his existence is doing something. And so this が particle here is saying that he is the one that is going to do the action in this sentence. And if we have a look, the action is 生む. So his existence is the one that gave birth to, and what did he give birth to? Final Fantasy VII を. So the or particle here is indicating what he gave birth to. So his existence gave birth to Final Fantasy VII. 彼の存在が Final Fantasy VII を生む.
こちらザックス.
Then we cut to the opening scene and look at these beautiful graphics. This was a PSP game and now it's like looking just as good as Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is insane. So kochira is here on this side. And so here, as Zack is kind of talking on the phone, kochira, so this over here, kind of referring to himself, Zaku is Zack. So this is Zack. And we can see in the English, this is naturally said as just, Zack speaking. So they're both completely natural sentences really in English. Hi, this is Matt speaking. Just a different way of adding flavor to the same sentence.
こちらザックス.
And we can hear someone on the phone, which I believe is Anji, or Zack's mentor, and he says, Zacksu, junchou ka? So junchou here is kind of making progress, right? Things going well. So literally, Zack, is everything going well? Is everything all right? Where in the English translation, he says, making progress, Zack. So right now, Zack is kind of on a mission entering in to Midgar and, on the top of the train, just like Final Fantasy VII.
アンジール、暴れていいんだよな.
Oh cool, and we have a nice look here at the new model for Zack, so he is looking way better than the PSP counterpart, so very much, fitting in with the Final Fantasy VII Remake style of graphics. So Zack says, Anjiru. So Anjiru here is the guy that was on the phone, and then he says, 暴れていいんだよな. So here, abareru means to kind of just go crazy, to kind of act a riot, right? To kind of rage out, right? So, in the sense of, making a scene, killing lots of people. So, abarete-i means, is it okay if I kind of, cut loose? And this temo-i, or here seen as te-i, is a way of kind of asking for permission for something. Is it okay? Right? So let's say, for example, you're asking someone for permission to do something. Maybe you want to say, can I sit here? 座ってもいい? So here in the te form, te-i. So you just put the verb in the te form followed by e, or temo and followed by e. This is just a little bit more casual here without the temo. So, abarete ii, is it okay if I go crazy? And then, dayo na, it is the fact, right? So, it is that, the nda is expressing it is that, and then yo is adding emphasis, so it is that quite definitively, but na here adding kind of a question, right? Is it? So, it's okay that I go crazy, right? Or, like in the game translation, I can cut loose, right? So as we can see, this is kind of a rhetorical question. He knows the answer is going to be yes, but he's still asking for permission anyway. And Anjiro replies with hodo hodo ni na. So hodo hodo ni here means in moderation, and then na is just kind of a masculine ne. So in moderation, alright? Or like in the game translation, within reason. So yeah, you can cut loose, but don't cut loose too much. Ja, well then, enryo here is to kind of hold back, to be a bit reserved in one's actions, right? Enryo suru. And here he says enryo naku. So nai means without, so enryo naku means I'm not going to hold back. And ja, well then. So well then, I won't hold back. Or in the English version, it's showtime. And we already can start to see in the background, right? This is, I think, even the same models that are used in Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's looking very, very, very similar in terms of graphical fidelity and quality. So this is very, very exciting, getting a full-fledged Crisis Core in the style of the remake. That's freaking awesome.
Soldier Class First Genesis.
Oh damn, even this is updated. So, soldier, Class first class, and then Genesis. So all of this is kind of katakana English, really, right? It's all very similar to the English sounding word, just we have Class First instead of First Class for first class.
Soldier Class First Genesis. 一月前、部隊での作戦行動中に行方不明となった。
Now we have our first kind of long sentence. So, hitotsuki mae. So, hitotsu is one, tsuki here is month, and then mae is before. So, hitotsuki mae means 1 month ago. Wutai is Wutai, so this is the place where Yuffie's from. If you're familiar with Final Fantasy VII, this is kind of the Japan, Asia part of the Final Fantasy VII universe. De is at, so de is used to mark the place of action. And then de no sakusen, so sakusen here is a kind of military operation. Kodo chu, so kodo is like your maneuvers, your actions. So you're in the middle of kind of, doing your actions with this military operation. Chu here is expressing that during, right? While you're doing this action. So something happened while on mission in Wutai. Wutai de no sakusen kodo chu ni. And then finally we have yukue fume to natta. And yukue is whereabouts, fume means unclear. So whereabouts are unknown. To natta, it became. What became? Here we're talking about Genesis. So a month ago, he went missing during a mission in Wutai. Exactly the same as the game translation, very literal.
一月前、部隊での作戦行動中に行方不明となった。
その剣使ってるところ見たことないぞ。
Oh man, I used this scene in one of my grammar videos in the PSP version. It's looking so much better now. So Zack says, その剣使ってるところ見たことないぞ. So その剣, that sword, sono is that, and then ken here is for the sword, as we can see. Anjiru here is holding the sword. So その剣, that sword. 使っている, so 使う is to use, and here it's in the continuous form, so using. その剣使っているところ, that means the kind of scene or the place or the moment. So I've never seen the scene, I've never seen the moment of you using that sword. Mita, miru here is to see, and then kotonai is something I've never done before. And so here we can see that if you put a verb in the past tense form, miru, mita, followed by kotonai or kotoganai, this expresses that you've never done that action. So, I've never seen you using that sword. And then zo is an emphatic yo. something you will often see in anime and manga or video games, but you might not necessarily use yourself too much. If you want to really add emphasis, you might add yo at the end of your sentence. Zo is a little bit kind of orgesa, a little bit over-exaggerated, a little bit too much, unless you're kind of joking around or having fun. I use it often just when I'm being silly, right? It makes things very emphatic.
その剣使ってるところ見たことないぞ。まじない専用なんてもったいなくないか?
Majinai here usually means like a curse, right? Like think like a ghost story, right? Oh, it's cursed. But here, Majinai is actually referring to spells. When you cast a spell, in the Final Fantasy universe, some characters might use their sword to kind of help them cast that spell, right? So here, Majinai Senyor. Senyor here is exclusive dedicated use for something. So the exclusive use for spells. Nante, such a thing. And then we have mottai nakunai. So mottai nai means that it's a complete waste. It's like a spoil, something that's really, really good and you're not making full use of it, right? Mottai nai. And then mottai nakunai, isn't it a waste? And then ka is a question. So majinai senyo nante mottai nakunai ka? Isn't it a waste to only use that for spells?
まじない専用なんてもったいなくないか?
使うと汚れる、かける、すり減る。そっちの方がもったいない。
Okay, we have a pretty big sentence here. So Anjiru says, 使うと汚れる. So 使う to use, to when you do that action. So if you see a verb followed by this to particle, it's expressing when you do this action, the following thing happens. So when you use it, 使うと汚れる, it becomes kind of dirty. かける, it chips away, it gets kind of damaged and broken. Think about like how a sword gets chipped, right? That is this かける. Suriheru, so this means to be worn down, right? It gets blunt and worn down and weakened. So suri here is kind of rubbing and the heru is to decrease. It gets worn down. Sochi no ho, so actually we already seen kochira. So kochi is here, sochi is there, right? And then achi is over there, right? So sochi is like that. That no ho, and so ho means kind of direction, but this is actually a way of kind of comparing things. Sochi no ho ga, so that way is actually more something. And what does he say? It's more mottai nai. It's more of a waste. So rather than using it just for spells, it's more of a waste to see it get damaged, broken and worn down.
使うと汚れる、かける、すり減る。そっちの方がもったいない。
プロジェクト G によって生み出されたのがジェネシスだ。
Oh man, it's freaking beautiful. Oh my god, we just saw so much stuff, but all of it was looking absolutely incredible. The locations were looking great, the monsters were looking great. Oh, this is awesome. So now we kind of cut to this other conversation happening, and here they say, Projecto G ni yotte. So projecto is a project, so project G, projecto G. Ni yotte means by, due to, according to. So by Project G, according to, by means of Project G, umidasareta no ga. So umidasu here is to kind of give birth to something, right? If you think about umu, as we actually already saw, to give birth, but dasu is to kind of come out, to take out. So umidasu is kind of, to make something appear, to make something be born into this world. Umidasareta no ga, the thing, no ga, the thing that was born into this world by Project G, Genesis da. It is Genesis. So the thing that Project G gave birth to was Genesis.
プロジェクト G によって生み出されたのがジェネシスだ。
プロジェクト G.
Project G?
プロジェクトジェネシス。
Project Genesis.
想像しいな、子犬のザックス。
Oh, and there we have Genesis, voice acted by the legendary Gakuto-sama. So here we see Genesis say, 想像しいな、子犬のザックス. So 想像しい here is to be really kind of noisy, boisterous, kind of, unsettled, right? To kind of be kind of, a mess. He's not chilled out. He's kind of being loud and noisy. 想像しいな, so you're quite restless, aren't you? Ko inu, so ko means small or child, and then inu is dog, so a child dog is a puppy. So ko inu here is a puppy, and then ko inu no zaksu, Zack the puppy.
想像しいな子犬のザックス死んだの犬どもに何がわかる
And that sounds a lot like Gukt, so it looks like Gukt is reprising his role in this game. Unless they're just using the voice clips they already used, I'm not sure, but it seems to be, much higher quality than the voice clips from the PSP. Now, this is actually a little bit of editing magic because it looks like Genesis just blew Zack up with a fire, but actually if we have a close look, it's actually one of the Turks. So here we can see him getting blasted. Not Zack, it's actually one of the Turks. And Genesis says, Shinda no inu domo ni nani ga wakaru. So Shinda here is the Shinra company, no inu, so we know that's dog, a dog of Shinra dogs, and then we have domo. This is really interesting because this is used after something to kind of add a level of derogatory to it, right? So it's implying that you're kind of far below the speaker. So inu domo is like you damn trashy dogs, right? Really putting someone down. So Shinra no inu, a dog of Shinra, no, Shinra no inu domo, you damn dogs of Shinra, right? So, Shinra lapdogs. And then ni here is kind of by. Nani ga, nani is what? And then nani ga, so what is it that? Wakaru, what do you know? What do you understand, right? So what can a Shinra lapdog understand, right? Shinra no inu domo ni nani ga wakaru?
死んだの犬どもに何がわかる
Whoa, so much going on right there. So we saw Ifrit, and that looks very similar to the Final Fantasy VII model that they had for Ifrit, but we see Bahamut as well. Awesome summons going on. And now we can see here in the slum church with Aerith calling out to him. So Aerith calls out and she says, Moshi Mosh. So Moshi Moshi here is a piece of language that you use when you're answering the phone. It's kind of like, hello, right? Hello, hello, moshi mosh. So it's a way of, calling out to someone. You don't necessarily have to be on the phone because here Aerith is not on the phone with Zack. She's calling out, hello, are you there? Right, that kind of thing. One thing to note is that you can actually say this as moshi moshi, right? Moshi moshi, right? Very clearly the same sound, moshi moshi. But here, Aerith actually says, moshi mosh. Moshi mosh. So the she just kind of turns into a shh. Right, that kind of sound. You'll often notice this with the she sound. It's not always heavily pronounced as she. Sometimes it kind of goes down a bit. Like for example, ichi for one, right? Ichi. It's not always pronounced ichi. Sometimes it's ich, right? So the she part kind of gets cut off a little bit. And that's what's happening here with Aerith. Mosh mosh. Tengoku. Tengoku. So Tengoku is heaven. So am I in heaven? Am I in paradise? Oh man, and look at Zack right there. He is looking very handsome young man right there. And Aerith too, she's looking great, although quite a bit of makeup on her for kind of young Aerith, but cool. Aerith looking good as well. And Aerith says, zannen. So zannen is kind of a way of saying unfortunately, right? Zannen, that's unfortunate. However, here she's more saying unfortunately no, right? Zannen, it's not heaven. Zannen. Suramu no kyokai. Oh man, it's so pretty. So Aerith says Suramu no kyokai. So Suramu here is the slums of Midgar, and then Kyokai is the word for a church. As we can see, we're in a kind of church, right? It's kind of a ruined church, but we're in a church. And so here that word is Kyokai. Kyo is for kind of teaching, instructing, and then Kai is like meeting, right? So it's a place where, you meet for teachings, religious teachings, right? So Kyokai. Suramu no Kyokai.
ところで君の夢はファーストになるかな
Tokorode. So this means by the way. It's a way of kind of, starting a conversation, changing the topic. By the way, tokorode. And then he says, Kimi no yume wa So kimi is a way of talking about you, right? It's a way of talking about the other person. Generally in Japanese, we don't use this too much. Kimi. It's a little bit rude to kind of point at someone and be like, you, right? You'll see it a lot in Japanese media, TV shows, games, and some people do use it, like for example, if you're with friends or something like that. But generally, in real life, you might use the person's name instead. That's a much nicer way of, saying you just by using their name instead. But here, as we see, he says kimi. Kimi no yume. Yume is a dream, and then wa as for. So as for your dream, what's your dream? Fasto ni naru kana. So fasto, as we already saw, was first class. So fasto ni naru is to become first class. Soldier first class. And then kana is like, I wonder, I guess. So is it, right? By the way, what's your dream? To become first, is it?
ところで君の夢はファーストになるかな。
いや、英雄になることです。
Whoa, and there's Bahamut. Oh my god, he looks beautiful. Oh, that is one badass looking Bahamut. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I think it's Bahamut, but I always say Bahamut ever since I was a kid. So man, look at him, he looks awesome. Damn. So Zack says, yeah, no. This is a way of kind of negating what someone says. Yeah, that's not the case. Eiyu here is a hero. So eiyu ni naru, to become a hero. Interesting, we're seeing this ni naru used a lot, so hopefully it's sticking in some of your guys' heads. So to become a hero, eiyu ni naru koto desu. So koto means the thing of, and then des is a polite ending to the sentence, kind of stating a fact. So it is the thing of becoming a hero. So his dream is to become a hero.
いや、英雄になることです。
そうか。叶いそうにないいい夢だ。
Damn, that's a pretty wing. I know I'm commenting a lot on the graphics, but that wing did look pretty good. And so here he says, そうか, is that so? 叶いそうにないいい夢だ. So kanao is for something to come true, as in a wish or a prayer. So kanai so ni nai means that it doesn't seem to be coming true. Something that doesn't seem to come true. Something that's kind of like an unattainable dream, right? Kanai so ni nai I yume da. I means good, and then yume is a dream. So, I see. That's nice, a nice dream that is unattainable. So, is that so? That's a nice unattainable dream, or in the English version, oh good, unattainable dreams are the best kind.
そうか。叶いそうにないいい夢だ。
夢を抱きしめろ。
Then we cut back to the opening scene where Zack is facing all of these Shinra soldiers, and he says, Yume o dakishimero. So this is a bit of a tricky piece of language that a lot of learners get tripped up on when they're learning Japanese. This daku, you often might hear that it means to kind of hug someone. Generally speaking though, daku isn't used by itself to mean hug. It actually has a little bit more adult meanings to it if you use it just by itself. But here, dakishimeru, this is much more commonly used to kind of embrace something, right? To hold on to something. To hug, right? To hold someone close. And here he's saying to hold your dreams close. Yume o dakishimero. And shimeru, shimero, that's the imperative form. So he's saying, embrace your dreams. Hold on tight to your dreams.
夢を抱きしめろ。そしてどんな時でもソルジャーの誇りは手放すな。
そして and as well as どんな時でも So どんなでも means no matter what. どんな means what kind, and then temo is even. So even what kind, no matter what kind of toki. So no matter what kind of time. So no matter what time it is, どんな時でもソルジャーの誇りは So Soruja is the name in the Final Fantasy VII universe of kind of this military elite, right? As we saw, is your dream to become faster is a first-class soldier. Here is the word there, this group soldier. Soruja no hokori, hokori is someone's pride. So the pride of a soldier. Soruja no hokori wa, as for the pride of a soldier. And then finally we have tebanasuna. So te banasu here is to let something go. Te is your hand, and then hanasu is to let go. Tebanasu is to let go, kind of from your hand. So don't let go, don't release your pride as a soldier. Soldier no hokori.
そしてどんな時でもソルジャーの誇りは手放すな。いらっしゃいませ。
And then a cool transition to the title here of Crisis Core. Zack slices the screen in half and he says, "Irashaimase." Now, this expression is actually normally seen when you're entering a store, right? It's kind of a way of saying welcome. This can be used shops, convenience stores, ramen stops, restaurants, all kinds of things. Here, why is Zack saying "Irashaimase" in this situation? So he's not saying welcome to the store, right? And we can see this in the game translation where he says, "Come and get it," right? So it's, in a way, he's kind of welcoming the customer, welcoming his opponent to the service, to the thing that he's giving, the fight. It's kind of like fighting words, right? It's kind of playful in a way where he's saying, you know, like, oh, I'll attend to you next, right? Kind of treating his enemies as customers. He's not really doing that. It's just kind of a playful way of words. So I think the English translation here is great where they say, "Come and get it." This is a bit of a tricky thing to translate. And there we have it. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion is coming out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Steam. That is ridiculous. It's coming out on everything. That is so freaking cool. And it kind of makes you wonder a bit. If it's coming out on Nintendo Switch, it looks just as good as Final Fantasy VII Remake as far as graphically goes, so why is this coming to Switch but not Final Fantasy VII Remake? Maybe it's not quite as graphically intensive as Final Fantasy VII Remake, maybe they're just pulling assets from it, making it look quite better. The game itself is, you know, obviously a lot smaller, it's a lot less... it's a lot narrower in scope, right? The areas are not as complex, and the dialogue's not quite as big. You know, Final Fantasy VII Remake has hundreds and hundreds of hours of NPC, conversation and dialogue and, emotions and things like that. So perhaps that's why Final Fantasy VII Remake's not coming to the Switch. I couldn't imagine it on the Switch, it looks so bad. It would be like the whole game is that door, the door that got patched out with the PS5 version. It'd be pretty bad. But this is looking awesome. So this is fantastic, and it's coming this winter, so that means winter, we're looking at Japan, that means it's coming at the end of the year, so December. Nice. So it looks like I'm gonna have to replay all of Crisis Core again in this beautiful remaster, kind of remaster remake, a graphical update of sorts. Definitely looks like something worthwhile playing. So looking amazing. Hope you guys are looking forward to this. It looks absolutely incredible. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you learned some Japanese and had fun with this video. So this is a nice quick video. There's actually going to be a much larger video that I'm going to be releasing very, very soon. It's actually already finished, and that is the second part of Final Fantasy VIII. I think it's been almost a year since I made the first episode, so sorry for the wait, guys. There's just so many videos that I want to work on. There's so much that I want to accomplish with this channel, and it's just so hard to kind of, do everything. I'm only one guy, right? It's very difficult to kind of make videos of, high quality and also high quantity. It's quite a difficult task. But I hope you guys are enjoying everything that I'm doing, and I hope you guys enjoy learning Japanese with video games. A huge thank you to all the supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, for all of your support of the channel. You are the reason this channel is continuing and something that I would like to do for a very long time. So thank you so much for all of your support. It really does help more videos come out, and also helps me plan for the long-term future of this channel, kind of gauging how much interest there is in, learning Japanese through video games, and also kind of, what I can provide with the time that I have. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you all again in the next video. See ya.
たくよ、自由の代償は高いぜ。こちらザックス。
ザックス、順調か？
アンジール、暴れていいんだよな。
ほどほどにな。
じゃあ遠慮なく。
ソルジャークラスファーストジェネシス。一月前 部隊での作戦行動中に行方不明となった。
その剣使ってるところ見たことないぞ。まじない専用なんてもったいなくないか？
使うと汚れる、かける、すり減る、そっちの方がもったいない。
プロジェクト G によって生み出されたのがジェネシスだ。
プロジェクト G。
プロジェクトジェネシス。
想像しいな、子犬のザックス。死んだの犬どもに何がわかる。
もしもーし。
天国。
残念。スラムの教会。
ところで君の夢はファーストになるかな。
いや、英雄になることです。
そうか、叶いそうにないいい夢だ。
夢を抱きしめろ。そしてどんな時でもソルジャーの誇りは離すな。いらっしゃいませ。